Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Alpine Church of Spiritual Living. I am going to be sharing the thought for the week this week, and then at the end, the people here can go ahead and join me. So welcome everyone else that is on this online presentation. Welcome you for being here and sharing this energy with us. The title of it is What Was Sown? As we enter into this month of October, where fall is in the air, bringing with it the familiar recognition that now is a time of harvest, so I am using bringing in the harvest as the theme for the month. And as with anything, whatever we are harvesting is predicated upon what we have sown. Wayne Dyer's message is so very true. You can't get prune juice from an orange no matter how hard you squeeze it. You can't give hate if you only have love inside. We all have been placed on the earth plane for reasons far beyond the comprehension of our finite mind. I still remember the song Burt Bacharach and Hal David wrote in the 60s. What's it all about, Alfie? Even today, as our book study reads Joel Goldsmith, we ask, why are we here? First and foremost, I believe we know we are all spirit, temporarily housed in this earthly bodysuit. The coming and going of this bodysuit is governed by a divine consciousness that only operates out of and from love. When we consciously unite and are at one with this infinite spirit, we are planting the seeds of its nature in our hearts and minds. Therefore, as we abide in the Word and the Word abides in us, everything unlike love, wholeness, peace, joy, and more are cast out of our experience and go back into the nothingness from which they came. As we draw nigh to our source within, we are comforted, reassured, renewed, and strengthened to do those things that are ours to do. Be diligent, aware, and conscious of the seeds you are planting in your consciousness, for whatever they are, they will surely be harvested, just as day follows night. Say with me, I know that God is a God of love, closer to me than hands and feet. I now snuggle up to this divine presence to feel its warmth and allow and let it to sow its seeds in my heart and mind. Thank you, dear God, for life just as it is. I am ever so grateful. All right, so now is the time of harvest. I want you to take a moment to digest that sentence. Digest that thought. Let it come to you in a deeper level. Notice that it starts with the word now. For that's what life is. Life is the eternal now, a continuum. And whatever is true, whatever life is, it is happening in the now. God is. Period. We are living the lives of God. Joel Goldsmith's book, A Parenthesis in Eternity, he wrote, if you and I believe that we are expressions of love, we are holding ourselves inside the parenthesis. Now let me clarify this just a little bit. When he talks about parenthesis, he's talking about a lifetime between the time you were born and the time that you exit. That's a parenthesis in time for Joel Goldsmith. So let me start again. If you and I believe that we are expressing love, we are holding ourselves inside the parentheses. If, on the other hand, we see that love is expressing itself, capital I, itself, life, capital L, is manifesting and forming itself, capital I, and consciousness, capital C, is unfolding and disclosing itself in infinite form and variety, we are lifted out of the parentheses and into eternity. Eternity never ends. Eternity has no past. Eternity has no future. Eternity is a continuous now. And this last week we read that chapter on now. Beyond Time and Space, I think was the name of it. And it was just now, now, now. And to remember that. So important. Life is never ending. It is always continually in the now. And I wanted to address something that is the elephant in the room. And that is the fact that and the people that are watching this online, you may not be aware, but most of the people in this room know that our son of 39, he just turned 39, Burke, made his transition on September 24th. And beautiful, beautiful, beautiful being. Leaving behind his mother, me, his father, Med, sister Becky, his wonderful wife, Lindsay, and his daughter, Adeline, and many, 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 many friends and family. And we, yes, are all still grieving this idea. It's hard to accept, it's hard to believe, and I still keep shaking my head, just no, how could it happen? But Wayne Dyer's writing in today's calendar was so appropriate. It said, choose to see death as simply removing a garment or moving from one room to another. It's merely a transition. And when I wrote that thought for the week about our being housed in this bodysuit for really an unknown period of time, that we come and we go, I believe, at the beckoning and the will of love. And I know wholeheartedly that each and every one of us comes into this life and moves out of this life, parentheses, at the right and perfect way and the right and perfect time. I absolutely know that. It's still not easy. I wanted to share a few things with you about Burke's passing. We brought Adeline into, I don't know if I mentioned, he passed of a massive heart attack. And he was in the trauma department of the hospital. His body was still there. And we brought his little daughter, Adeline, into the room to say goodbye to Daddy, to hold his hand and to tell him that she loved him. And as I have told Adeline before, because I watch her, I've been watching her all the time that she's been 2, Monday through Friday, all day long. And I've told her, like, if we see a dead bug in the yard or something like that, I tell her, the spirit is still living. The spirit just left the body. That's just the body there, but the spirit is still living. It's not gone, it's here. And so as she came in, I reminded her of that, and I said, Daddy's spirit is still here. Daddy's spirit will always be with you. Whenever you want to talk to Daddy, he will be there for you. And so this was on Friday. On Monday, when I went to go see her, I noticed that Adeline had these couple little plastic stickers, like I have given her, very similar to ones that I've given her, and I thought they were part of this set that I'd given her, and I said, oh, Adeline, we need to take these 2 stickers, and they were in a separate little box, and put them in with the others that I gave you. And she said, no, I got these at that place where Daddy's spirit left. The nurses at the hospital had given her these 2 little stickers. And so I said, oh yes, well then no, we need to make sure that we keep these stickers, in a good place. Adeline seems to be unaffected by Burke's passing. She's concerned that her mother is upset and saddened and cries because she said, Daddy's right here. For her, Daddy is right here. I think that she still has that childlike energy and ability to see beyond the veil, more so than as we get older that we can do. Still more easily connected to the Spirit. One of the things I wanted to share, and I think I've told some of the folks here, is that as Lindsay and I were in the room with Burke, I was on one side of the gurney and she was on the other side, and there was a faucet right behind her. She was talking to Burke. She was telling him how that, well, we know you wanted to be cremated, and well, I'm thinking that maybe we should scatter some of your ashes in the ocean, in the water, because they always loved to camp. They went to Silver Strand quite a bit. And as soon as she said, scatter your ashes in the water or at the beach, that faucet behind her turned on full force. It was one that's activated by a hand motion. It came on full force, and Lindsay looked around back at it, and she said, oh, okay, I guess that's a good idea. And she continued talking and telling Burke that, she says, however, I'm not quite sure about those chickens. They had gotten chickens in April. And Burke had everything set up for them. I mean, he had the house, he had the run, he had the automatic door that closes, he had a camera in there. I mean, you know, you name it. It was all set up. And she says, I don't know if I can handle those chickens. The water turned off immediately. So I think she's supposed to keep the chickens, is what I'm guessing. But it was interesting. One of Lindsay's sisters, Megan, was in town. Actually, it was very, very fortunate that Megan came into town on Wednesday. And on Thursday, Burke had this procedure, had a catheterization that went in that discovered that his heart was not made right. And it was that night that he had the massive heart attack. Well, in any event, her name is Megan, and she, after we were all home on Monday, and we were doing things, you know, you do stuff around the house needs to be done, and the chickens needed to be cleaned up. And Megan came back in, and she said, boy, it's a good thing that Adeline worked with Ned with those chickens and everything, because she knew exactly where everything was, exactly knew what to do. And I thought, what a blessing that hopefully they'll keep the chickens. As I am awake through the nights that I have been waking up, it just happens, you know. You wake up, and fortunately, I have been blessed many times with the thought right away that there is one life. There is one life. And I just bring myself to that knowingness, to that awareness. And I have that ability, that the way that comes to me is because I have been practicing the presence. I have been disciplined in my spiritual practices. And it is a comfort. It is a so much of something that I can lean on, to know that life is eternal. It never ends, that it is always in the now. Joel Goldsmith put it this way: the harmony of this month is the product of the depth of our spiritual vision of last month. The harmony of this month? I think I mistyped that. I think it's supposed to be the harvest. Maybe it is harmony. The harmony of this month is the product of the depth of our spiritual vision of last year, of our hours, days, weeks, and months of study, meditation, and preparation. Every moment of last year went into whatever degree of harmony we are experiencing this year. So it will be until eternity, not only throughout this lifetime, but throughout all the lifetimes to come. We are planting seeds every moment, every now. And those seeds are what we are going to be harvesting, what we are going to be bringing to our consciousness. Life will change its forms. There's no doubt about that. When we leave this earthly plane, we will take with us the consciousness and the love that we have developed, that we have known, that we have shared. As I was standing by Burke's body, I was telling him how much I appreciated him being in my life, because he was a really good kid. Excellent. Megan, the one that was helping with the chickens, came up to me that Monday and said to me, leaned over and said to me, you raised a really good kid. And I said, I'm not going to take credit for it, because he was good from the get-go. He's just one of those souls, And I always admired his self-confidence. And it wasn't in an egotistic way at all. When he was little, he had a problem with his ears, and they had to put tubes in the ears, And they said they were supposed to fall out naturally when they were no longer needed, but his stayed in there. And so when you had this tube in your ear, you could not get water in it. And so when he would go in the pool, he would have to wear a bathing cap. He's 8 years old, and he's the only boy, well, probably the only child. I don't think even girls were wearing bathing caps then. Wearing a bathing cap didn't make any difference to him. He could have cared less. He had no sense of any, problem with it at all. And actually, he became quite an athlete in many, many sports. He had his hole-in-one in golf when he was 12. He ended up being on the water polo team at high school, which they wear? Bathing caps. And as we were sitting in the room, Lindsay she said kind of on the side, she goes, and he's probably up there playing golf right now. Yes, we shed tears because he's no longer here in this physical body. To hear his spontaneous laugh, to hear his wise counsel. And we will grieve, no doubt. But what I want to share with you this morning is that each of us, and I know I'm certainly not alone in this experience. Many, many, many people have had experiences of just heart-wrenching things that happen. But recognize that literally, that love, that God energy is right here, in and through it all, giving us everything that we need because we are living its life. This is the life of God. And yes, if it's saying I want to cry, okay, let it out. Let that be. But recognize that the seeds that we are planting now, we will harvest. We will bring with us into tomorrow, into the next day, into the next parentheses, what we are planting now. Sow seeds of love, sow seeds of kindness, sow seeds of acceptance. Be quick to forgive, to know that everyone is always doing the very best they can, given the consciousness that they're at. Exclude no one from your heart. Know that we are all in our right and perfect place. And when we can remember that this God energy is all there is, we will find peace. We will find that peace that passes understanding. We will harvest a beautiful, beautiful crop of divine loving energy. So that's my message today, to stay in love, to stay in light, to stay in health and truth. I appreciate you all. And Ned is coming up wanting to show a picture of Burke and Lindsay and Adeline. There they are, beautiful family, and he's still with them. Thank you, Med. Thank you all. Namaste.